Zak Bagans' new show Destinations of the Damned is catching yet more smoke after its release on HBO Max, which is the streaming platform in which, a lot of stuff goes on. And, it was kind of released to the broader public of just America. I've already kind of seen the show. I thought it was pretty good. I watched it on a VPN, so everyone who was like, "You're not in America, how did you see it?" I saw it on a VPN. I thought it was alright. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a fan of Zak Bagans. I'm not a biggest fan of Ghost Adventures, but I thought for what it was, the documentary, it was pretty good. But it was a little bit clickbaity. It was kind of like touted as this paranormal investigation show, but it wasn't a paranormal investigation show. More like history of spooky places. But, it's come out with some very scathing reviews, one of which came from the Ramapo News, okay? Which is basically like, from what I can gather, it's a bit of like a news site for movies and shows and all the rest of it. But, yeah, I love Ghost Adventures. I've seen each of the 26 seasons, though roughly 3 or 4 times we have watched all of their special spin-offs. House Call, Screaming Room, Horror at Joe Exotic Zoo, you name it, I've seen it. Last Wednesday, October 2nd, Destinations of the Damned with Zak Bagans premiered on Max's HBO streaming service. This 5-episode mini-series from the Discovery Channel follows the film crew as they explore haunted locations all across the road. But here's the catch. Baggins was not part of the crew, and instead he narrates every episode. This is where the show started to lose me, as you can imagine. It's this is where people started to switch off a little bit because they were like, oh, this isn't what it was promoted as. But here we go. This film crew contains none of the cast from the original show and are not even introduced throughout the whole series. If one of them happens to feel or see something, their name is written on the screen. So obviously that then made it feel quite kind of disjointed. I was watching it and I was like, oh, there's no one, I don't know who any of these people are. And then it's like you struggle to feel that connection with those people because you've built up 26 seasons of getting to know these people. Right? You get to know them and all the rest of it. People love and die by these people. And then it's like, who are these people? Why am I supposed to care what they have to say? Who the fuck's Johnny? Right? Why do I care that Johnny's just being touched on the bum by a ghost? That didn't happen, by the way, but, Anyway. Now, of course, the show is not called Ghost Adventures Destinations of the Damned, so I guess it makes sense. However, if Baggins is a part of it, I want to see the others as well. In every other spin-off or special, there is the core 4. Baggins, Aaron Goodwin, Billy Tolley, and Jay Wasley. And it's very frustrating that Baggins is not a part of the crew, yet uses we and our when describing the situation. He simply relayed the information and narrated it. Again, it's very similar to house calls, isn't it, of late? Zak doesn't go out and do the house calls. He sits in a control room, probably in his house, and he's like, Billy, do this. Jay, go do that. Da-da-da, do this. Da-da-da, do that. You do that. And it's like, it feels really disconnected because it's like, well, what's the point of you investigating and being like, oh my God, that's so scary if you're not actually there? It's just like, well, what are you doing? The guy's found a cheat code to life. He gets paid to sit at home and do, the bare minimum, essentially. But what really got me, though, was the fact that there was no actual investigations. These 40-minute episodes are more like a History Channel mini-documentaries. While I do love them in the way they conduct the interviews, these are just ghost stories told in the actual setting with a sprinkle of some psychics here and there. Don't get me wrong, the stories are definitely interesting, but if I'm watching a show involving Baggins, I'm expecting to see the spirit box or EMF meter being used. In most of these episodes, they don't even stay on site after dark. I can't even list all of the locations that they went to in this series either. Even though there are only 5 episodes, some episodes just abruptly switch locations in the middle of the story. The titles of each episode are no help either. A classic Ghost Adventures episode is descriptive and tells you right where they are. But these are brief and broad, like The Cursed Shores or The Devil's Doorway. Which, I guess, in the sense of clickbait, works. The most significant issue for me, however, lies in the information. While doing my own research on some of these locations and legends, I found out that in the very first episode, Buried Alive, the information presented comes from no reliable source. Buried Alive takes place at the Armero, Colombia, which is the site of a terrible, heartbreaking natural disaster in 1985. Of the 30,000 residents, more than 25,000 were killed by the eruption of the Nevado del Ruiz volcano. What ties this to the paranormal location? Local legend dating back to 1948, when a priest named Pedro Maria Ramirez Ramos was murdered in the streets during the moment of political unrest. Since that day, the town of Armero has been said to be cursed, and that is why the eruption was so devastating. But throughout the episode, Bagans repeats a quote, "No stone will be left upon my tomb in the town of Armero," thought to have been told by Father Ramos. But there is no verifiable evidence of this having been said. Of course, it is cited as urban legend that has been passed down through generations, but the show acts like this is 100% proven. To prove to people that the paranormal exists, I really feel that they should use credible sources and accurate information. And this is the thing, right? If you're a small YouTube channel or, a small starting out series, you'd expect there to be some, this is very nitpicky, right? But you'd expect like these little mistakes to happen. But when you are Zak Bagans and you have put your face and name to a show, there is a massive expectation for everything to be perfect, down to the last minute details, okay? People expect there to be accurate information, for the information to be correct, because you, Zak Bagans, the godfather of the paranormal, is expected to get everything right, because, you've been doing this for 16 years, 26 series of Ghost Adventures, multiple spin-off shows, many spin-offs, special episodes. You should be getting this kind of stuff right. And, I highly doubt it's actually Zak that does the research. I literally, I put a mortgage on the fact that Zak doesn't do the research for these shows. He probably gets ghost writers to do it, and he's just bought in to be a face and a name to put on the title, to slap on there for people to click and watch. Because if you just did Destinations of the Damned with Ben Hubbard, me, no one's gonna fucking watch. No one cares. It sounds kind of boring. Destinations of the Damned with Zak Bagans. Then you've got yourself some pulling power, because Zak Bagans has got his name to it. Also, it's a pretty payday for Zak Bagans. He gets to sit in a little narration booth, probably where he does his house call stuff, and he gets to sit there reading lines. Oh, we went here, we did this. This is the spooky stuff about this place. All the rest of it, sends a team out to go and do an investigation, or just to conduct a little bit of, research and chat with some locals and stuff. And then, off he goes for dinner. Happy days. Gets all 5 episodes smashed in a couple of hours work. Job's a good one. Happy days. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your aunt. Anyway, I cannot pick a favourite episode. All of them felt so bland and not like Ghost Adventures I know and love. I've given a generous 1 star for the concept, but save yourself the time and watch something else. Oof. Obviously, it's ropey, isn't it? I mean, it's something new. It's something different. And the fact that Zak Bagans won't really venture too far away from his hometown of Las Vegas kind of leaves him with not a lot to do. I don't know. It always did feel a bit, I don't want to use the word cash grabby, but cash grabby. It was like promoted and made out to be this. I mean, the concept art's fantastic. I mean, this is fucking cool. But it's a bit boring. Let me know what you guys think about the whole situation down in the comments below. Have you watched Destinations of the Damned? Did you enjoy it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these people are wrong. Maybe everyone's wrong. Maybe you really enjoyed it. Let me know why down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.